Now look at that sexy cul-de-sac. That's a nice landing. Knots Landing. Essentially the next chapter of Dallas, centering around the lives of 4 married couples living on a cul-de-sac. I mean, this show covered it all. From murder to kidnapping, assassinations, and drug smuggling. It was all on Knots. Oh, and it just aired in 3 different decades, no big deal. From 1979 to 1993, making it the 3rd longest running primetime drama in US television history, following Gunsmoke and Bonanza, proving that it was just as popular as its predecessor, Dallas.
Well, we all know that Knots Landing is the world's most perfect community. Richard. I mean, a veritable utopia, the solar system's ideal community. Richard!
I mean, this show was gaining an audience when the era of nighttime soaps was waning, making you laugh in one beat and crying in the next. Remember Laura's funeral? Well, I sure do. I'm your host, Nostalgic Nick, and today we're heading back to Seaview Circle. If you enjoy our throwback, be sure to give it a thumbs up for us, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Michele Lee, Karen MacKenzie, mother of 3, originally worked as a community activist and later took over Knots Landing Motors after her hubby, Sid, had the most literal cliffhanger in TV history when he went careening off a cliff. Oh my God! And when she took off her wedding ring at Sid's grave, that was her real-life wedding ring, as she suffered a divorce during filming to her husband and actor James Ferrantino. Michele Lee began acting in 1961, but her breakout role wouldn't come until 1967 with a starring role in How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
Oh, I believe in you.
The following year, she co-starred with Dean Jones in the Disney smash hit The Love Bug. Then in 1969, she paired with the legendary Dick Van Dyke in the Carl Reiner written and directed film The Comic. Not many people have seen this one, so check it out. The 14th season of Knots Landing was declared to be the last, but budget cuts were requiring actors to appear in fewer episodes. No thanks, said Michele, who agreed to work for union scale pay for 4 episodes, to complete all 344. She's still acting, but the last sizable role we saw her in was as Ben Stiller's on-screen mother in the 2004 comedy Along Came Polly. She's in her late 70s and has been married to producer and writer Fred Rappaport since 1987. Ted Shackelford. Gary Ewing was first introduced to us in the show Dallas, the second son of oil baron Jock Ewing, constantly in JR's shadow. He's the family black sheep and a recovering alcoholic. We see a lot of drama, including Gary and his childhood love and on and off wife Valine. They were the tie to Dallas. Ted Shackelford got his start from 1975 to 77 on the daytime soap Another World, but after taking over the role of Gary Ewing from David Aykroyd, he moved to Knots Landing and the rest is history. After moving out of the cul-de-sac, Shackelford was the star of the sci-fi BBC show Space Precinct in 1994.
Let her go, Betty! You're breaking into my home and threatening me for no reason?
Then we can't forget the 1997 TV reunion movie, Knots Landing, Back to the Cul-de-sac. From 2006 until 2015, he was on TV practically every day, on The Young and the Restless for an astounding 385 episodes. Today, Ted's in his mid-70s and hasn't acted since this tenured soap arc. Joan Van Ark. Valine Ewing, aka Val, had our sympathy for sure, met with hardship after hardship, like having her firstborn daughter stolen. She really led this epic show too. In 1985, TV Guide said, quote, "Knots Landing has the grimmest plots but the strongest cast, headed by the incomparable Joan Van Ark." Joan began booking TV roles in 1967, but she got her soap opera feet wet quickly with 17 episodes of Days of Our Lives in 1970. Then in 72, she starred opposite the best stash in the biz, Sam Elliott, in the questionably scary horror flick Frogs. Ribbit. From 72 to 74, she was a series regular on the Cleavon Little-led program, The New Temperatures Rising show, which also featured Paul Lynde for 20 episodes. And for all you Lynde fans, we have an interesting deep dive into his life that you should check out next. I just learned that Joan Van Ark voiced Spider-Woman in the 1979 animated series.
I can't stick to this honey.
After Knots ended, she enjoyed more TV success, highlighted by a 55-episode stint on The Young and the Restless in 2004. When she's not acting, she's participating in marathons, 14 of them to be exact, and she's even made the cover of Runner's World magazine. Today she's in her late 70s and has been married to John Marshall, a former NBC reporter, since 1966. True high school sweethearts. Kevin Dobson. MacKenzie, or Mac, is Karen's second husband and works as an attorney, the two meeting after Sid's killer's charges were dropped. Although Mac joined the show at the beginning of season 4, he became a vital piece of the drama for the rest of the series. The story with Mac and the abused foster kid was really powerful and heart-wrenching to watch.
Tell me to take you someplace else, kid. Just tell me to take you someplace else.
You'll certainly remember Kevin Dobson's early work. He played the young, idealistic Detective Bobby Crocker on every episode of Kojak, idolizing the seasoned pro. Telly Savalas became somewhat of an acting mentor and a good friend for the rising star Dobson. After Knots Landing in 1996, Dobson starred in the first season of the crime drama FX The Series, and he continued acting right up until his death in 2020. He passed at 77 after struggling with an autoimmune deficiency. As a former Army soldier, he served twice as chairman of the National Salute to Hospitalized Veterans. Truly a good man. William Devane. Greg Sumner is the ambitious and hard-nosed politician turned corporate titan after inheriting his father's corporation. Greg was Mac's old college buddy, and Devane joined the cast in season 5 for what was supposed to be an 8-episode guest spot, but his cast's chemistry and fan popularity made him a mainstay for the rest of the run. William Devane began acting in 1967, with his first prominent gig being the lawyer in the 1971 film McCabe and Mrs. Miller. Devane also co-starred with Tommy Lee Jones in the 1977 war-based Rolling Thunder, which is probably Devane's greatest film to date. After Knots, he was part of the Mel Gibson-led action flick Payback in 1999, and the 2000s brought him another series regular role, as James Heller in 24, and the spin-off miniseries 24 Live Another Day, where he became President Heller. Today, William is 81 years old, and is also the spokesperson for Roslyn Capital. You gotta buy gold. Donna Mills. Abby was the soap vixen and came to town at the start of season 2 to make trouble, doing more than her part in several affairs. She set her sights on Gary and toppled that challenge, leading to Val throwing him out of the house.
You are such a slut. Well, it takes one to know one, doesn't it, dear?
Donna Mills was terrific as the villainous charmer. Mills also claimed that she did all of her makeup for her character Abby, and she even released her own eye makeup brand and tutorials. The eyes have it. In the 1980s, Donna Mills got right into the thick of things in 1967, beginning her 6-year stint on Love is a Many Splendored Things, completing more than 1,400 episodes. Wowzers. And in 1971, her film career took off, starring as the girlfriend of Clint Eastwood's character in the 1971 cult film Play Misty for Me, in which Clint also directed the picture. After playing one of the greatest villains in TV history, in 2014 she joined the soap General Hospital for a recurring role as Madeline Reeves, and she did that up until 2018. Today she is 80 years old and enjoys spending time with her beautiful adopted daughter Chloe, who has followed her mother into acting as well as modeling. One of the juiciest primetime soaps in television history, from the tighter first few seasons centered on the families, to the more outlandish plot lines of greed and desire that came with later seasons.
I am not poor Val! Poor Val! Poor Val! Okay?
It was an excellent drama for an incredible 14 seasons. So let's discuss. What storyline was your personal favorite? Did you watch the spin-off miniseries Back to the Cul-de-sac? And finally, who is your personal favorite character from this epic saga? Let us know in the comments below. And let's all remember Seaview Circle together. If you enjoyed this Knots Landing reunion, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a memory. From all of us here at Do You Remember, thanks for remembering us.